Bonjour, everyone. Hank with Outer Rim Travels here. Welcome back to my birthday / Disneyland Paris trip. Very, very excited to be here on my birthday. And today's our big Paris day. I was here about 20 some odd years ago, and I got to kind of, explore the cathedral on the outside. Didn't make it inside, but today we've got reservations. So we're heading on in. I'm going to share all that with you. I can just imagine it's got to be beautiful in there, so very, very excited. Then at noon, we're heading over to Eiffel Tower, taking an elevator tour up to the top. And at 3 p.m., we've got the Louvre. So covering all our tourist traps, got to do it. Never know when we're going to make it back, even though we have been talking about coming next year. So we'll see. But let's kick it off here at Notre-Dame. Join me. As you step inside the cathedral, the word that comes to mind isn't exactly beautiful, more like glorious. It really is astounding what mankind is capable of. Here we've got the statue of the Virgin of the Students, and Evie did take a moment to light a couple of little candles for family members. I'm really glad I was able to capture this moment. I wasn't sure how many personal, private moments I would actually film inside the cathedral. But it's nice to have this on video and be able to kind of relive this particular moment. I'd like to mention there's no particular rhyme or reason for the art that I am showcasing in this particular video. Some of it was just the best footage. I mean, the video could go on for hours with all the footage that I filmed. Here we've got the statue of Saint Therese of the Child Jesus. I was very impressed by the technology. You could actually use your credit card to purchase your offering here for €2. Off on this side, we have the Nativity of the Virgin, and I will be linking to the official Notre-Dame website in the show notes. This way, if you're curious about some of the artwork, you can check it out in much more detail at the official website. Here we have the sons of Siva beaten by the demon. You're going to notice several wooden confessionals scattered throughout Notre-Dame. See that right there? And the stained glass windows at Notre-Dame are just, they're masterpieces. Look how gorgeous that is, you guys. Evie took a quick moment to say a little prayer to the Virgin of Guadalupe, which happens to be one of my mom's middle names, as she was born on December 12. Here is a scene we all pretty much recognize, the Last Supper of Christ. Now, as we continue walking through Notre-Dame, we're going to come across several tombs and statues of clergymen. I'm going to do my best to pronounce the names, but keep in mind, je suis américain, so my apologies in advance. Trying my best. Here we have the tomb of Antoine Leclerc de Genève, followed by Cardinal Louis Antoine de Noailles. One of the finest tombs at the cathedral is that of Jean-Baptiste de Bellois, which was actually commissioned by Napoleon himself. And this is the tombstone of Etienne Yvet, along with another familiar image of Christ. This is the reliquary of the Crown of Thorns. See that cross in the center? That's where the Crown of Thorns usually sits, but it's only displayed on the first Friday of the month, or every Friday during Lent, and all day on Good Friday. The Crown of Thorns has been back on display at Notre-Dame since its reopening, December 7, 2024. Here we've got stained glass of the life of the Virgin. There is the Virgin Mary herself. During that devastating fire of 2019 and the spire collapsed, this rooster was thought to be lost forever, but they found it and it became a glimmer of hope. This is the effigy of Simone Matifas de Bussy, and the fresco of St. George slaying the dragon. As you've seen, the cathedral itself is a work of art, so we have the builders to thank for it, and they get their own display inside Notre-Dame. Cathedral will live on for many more generations to come.
This is the mausoleum of Claude Henry, the Count of Harcourt, surrounded by death, his guardian angel, and wife grieving at his feet. This large bronze crucifix was gifted by Napoleon III. The amount of history and tradition they have in Europe never fails to amaze me. It's just something we don't have in the States as a relatively young nation, you know? Here, you've got the mausoleum of Denis Auguste Ave. And over on this side, the Triumph of Job there at the top, and the stoning of Saint Stephen right here underneath. Here is a statue of the Saint Joan of Arc, which is from 1920 and relatively new considering the history of the artwork at Notre-Dame. Speaking of which, there is the choir organ and the stall panels depicting the life of the Virgin. And here is a statue of the Virgin and Child, which was placed at the front of the pillar in 1855. Notre-Dame does have its own Pietà. There is the statue of the Virgin of Pity with that gorgeous gold cross you can see all the way from the entrance to Notre-Dame. It wasn't easy to capture this footage without having folks, walking in front of the camera, so to be very patient, but I'm very happy with the final results. Some beautiful, beautiful imagery. This is a view of the front entrance of Notre-Dame. So of course we are now in the center and we're going to make our way toward the exit on the left-hand side. On the left is St. Charles Borromeo giving communion to the plague victims, and on the right St. Peter healing the sick with his shadow, and St. Vincent de Paul. Here is some relatively new artwork from painter Yin Xin. Very pretty stuff. And on the opposite side, you've got the altar, crucifix, and chandeliers that mark the 800th anniversary of the cathedral. Ultimately, on the way out, you've got the Visitation, and this is one of 8 large paintings that adorn the choir at one point, but it's the only one that remains at Notre-Dame today. On the way out, you've got this little gift shop with plenty of literature, all kinds of interesting books, and jewelry and things, and we did purchase this little rosary for Mama Otero. She loved it. I really hope you enjoyed your little virtual tour of the Notre-Dame Cathedral, and that I kind of took my time with it and showed you some of the amazing artwork and sculptures and didn't just rush through it. So let me know what you think in the comments below. And on the way out, we did pick up several commemorative gold coins of Notre-Dame. See right here? For €3 a piece. Family and friends love those. So remember, if you're going to visit Notre-Dame, go to the official website, click Visit and Reservation to reserve your spot. It is completely free of charge, but you do need that reservation to get in, and they take about 10,000 to 15,000 daily. Yeah, quite a lot of people. Welcome to the Eiffel Tower, everybody. Yeah, we were so excited to finally visit the tower.
All right, we've arrived at the Eiffel Tower. There she is behind me. We have an elevator excursion, and I think it takes us to the second stop and then all the way to the top. So we'll check that out in a minute. We have to meet at the south entrance, and they dropped us off. We took an Uber over from Notre-Dame over here, which was about €18, not too bad. And we've got to find entrance 1. They dropped us at security point 2. So I'm going to head over and find number 1. Let's go, come on.
We did have to walk around because security entrance 1 was on the complete opposite side of where Uber dropped us off. But hey, that's fine. I mean, we're just there to explore. Here we go. This is entrance number 1. And the first thing you're going to do is clear security. This is the first checkpoint. There's a second security checkpoint at the elevators.
Okay, tour has officially started, and we are walking underneath the Eiffel Tower. Here we go, check it out.
And yes, it is as cool as you imagine it would be. Wow. Look over here on the right, you can see little people taking the stairs. No, we opted for an elevator excursion. Honestly, I can't even imagine taking these stairs up the Eiffel Tower. No thanks. Yeah, spectacular views of Trocadero Gardens. Look at that. And our guide explained that after the Olympics, this little statue was kept there on that bridge. Our guide also showed us the little island where you can see the quarter-scale model of the Statue of Liberty. See if you can see her up there. There you go. And that was gifted back to France by the United States in 1889.
We're here on the second floor of the Eiffel Tower, and they've got little gift shops and things. He mentioned that you could also buy champagne, so no shortage of alcohol on the Eiffel Tower. And then we're going to take the elevator to the summit, all the way to the top. Had to get some food here at the little cafe in the Eiffel Tower. A Madeleine, an actual Madeleine from Paris. And we got a pretzel and some hot chocolate as well.
I buy these all the time at my local market, but nothing like this. It was incredible. And the hot chocolate in Paris is some of the best I've had in my entire life, to be quite honest. Of course, we bought a bunch of gifts and stuff in the little gift shop, but before long, it was time to head up to the summit. By the way, the Eiffel Tower stands at 300 meters. That's 984 feet tall. That's quite high, considering those balloons that I take usually when I'm cruising. That's about, 400 or 500 feet up. Yeah, 984 feet. Oh, by the way, the antenna all the way at the top makes it a total of 1,083 feet. Yeah, it's pretty high. So as we're looking out the little elevator window, you can see the city, real nice. But it wasn't long before the fog started to set in. See that there? So we kind of knew that we were in for a challenge seeing the city from the summit itself. All right, here we are. We are all the way at the top, at the summit of the Eiffel Tower, but check out our view. While foggy conditions are common in Paris in the winter, this view was a bummer. You can't see much from up here, unfortunately. Yeah, while it's a shame we didn't have much of a view, it was still super, super cool to be all the way at the top in the summit of the Eiffel Tower. You can almost see the antenna up there. Here is the champagne area that our tour guide was referring to. So yes, you can buy champagne at the summit. And while it was very cold up there and we couldn't see much, it wasn't long before we hit those elevators back down to the ground level. So here we go. It's so interesting the way the elevators, come down at an angle. Isn't that neat? It was definitely quite a unique experience, and I'd say, I'd do it again, especially if we had a first-timer in our party. You should definitely experience it at least once. Yeah, we had fun. Now, after this experience, I want to revisit the Eiffel Tower at the Paris Hôtel in Vegas later this year. And we're done with the Eiffel Tower. My take on it is that even though it was a really, really cool experience, the weather, I think, dampened the overall experience because we couldn't really see. So all the way at the summit, couldn't see much of the city. I mean, you guys saw in the video. But they said that in the first floor, you'd have a good view, but we're kind of pressed for time. We have to head over to the Louvre. That's next on the list. We'll get back to the Louvre toward the end of the video, but first we're going to jump back in time a day because the night before we did get to experience a river cruise on the River Seine. It was incredible. There you go. There's the Eiffel Tower there behind me. Check out this really pretty close-up. It's hard kind of at this distance, on the river. I think we may be able to go upstairs. Let's try that out. So I've got to say, we did a lot of amazing things on this trip, but one of my favorite was just sailing past all these iconic Parisian landmarks on this river cruise. I mean, nothing like it, and I would do it again at the drop of a hat. Loved it so, so much. Okay, so here we've got the Palace of the Legion of Honor, also known as the Hôtel de Sceaux, which is located directly next to the Musée d'Orsay. And this museum, I hear, is a very nice alternative to the madness of the Louvre. So we got a plan for that next time. And speaking of which, there is the Louvre itself. And as you sail past, you get a real idea just of the immense size of this museum. It just keeps going and going and going. Over here, we've got the French Academy, which since 1635 is the official authority on the French language. The Academy has only 40 seats and members are known as immortals. 742 immortals in history, and only 11 of which have been women. Isn't that interesting? Here is the Paris Mint, one of the oldest mint institutions in the world, founded over 1,000 years ago. And over on this side, we are approaching a familiar sight. Here is the Notre-Dame Cathedral. Notre-Dame is actually located on a tiny island right in the middle of the River Seine. It was founded in 1163 and remains one of the finest examples of French Gothic architecture in the world. See, they still have cranes. They're still working on the restoration. I'm telling you guys, this was just unbelievable.
What do you think, Evie?
Pictures cannot describe this moment. That's all I gotta say.
I know, it's crazy, you guys.
Beautiful,
Insane.
beautiful.
I mean, we're a little cold, yeah, but geez.
It's
just,
so worth it.
I know.
So
You just
worth it.
cannot beat this view.
And Evie is so right. Pictures or even video do not do the experience of being there justice. Here we've got the Conciergerie, which was a courthouse and prison, and actually, Marie Antoinette was in prison there, later sentenced to death. By the way, you can enjoy these river cruises with audio tour or without.
Okay, we are coming up on the Eiffel Tower again from the other side.
There she is. Isn't she beautiful? We're making our way back to where we started at the boat dock. Shame we didn't get to experience the sparkling effect, which happens pretty much every hour on the hour. Yeah, loved that river cruise so much. Highly recommend it. After our cruise, we walked through Trocadero Gardens and went over to Carette. I mean, did you even visit Paris if you did not have a hot chocolate at Carette? Guys, I simply cannot describe how delicious this was, so I'm not even gonna try. Get that whipped cream. Suffice it to say that if and when we return to Paris next year, we will definitely be swinging by Carette again. Oh my gosh, my mouth is watering. And here's a quick peek at our little boutique hotel. When I say boutique, just 19 rooms, tiny but super nice and intimate. It was called the Hôtel Longchamp Élysées, and very centrally located. The best part was it cost us $150 a night. I pay more for that at Walt Disney World. The French gentleman that worked the front desk spoke Spanish, so it was really nice, and he was very, very friendly. Every morning it was kind of like bonjour and buenos dias. We were very comfortable speaking Spanish with him, and he said he got a chance to practice, which was nice. All right, here we are, you guys. We're gonna wrap up our video at the Louvre. We did get stuck in a bit of traffic going from the Eiffel Tower over to the Louvre, so we arrived there late, and that kind of threw our no wait time fast pass at the pyramid out the window. We ended up having to line up at another area and waited a ton to clear security. But once inside, it's like an airport in there. This place is massive. Here is a quick peek at a model that we came across of the Louvre, so you get an idea of the size of this museum. It is absolutely beautiful though, you guys. We've got some incredible museums in the States, but just nothing like this. The first area that we wandered into was the Greek exhibit. Keep in mind, we were both pretty tired by this point, but we had that goal of seeing the Mona Lisa in person.
Where inside the Louvre and going through the Greek exhibits. So lots of rocks, as my Greek cousin would say. Beautiful, beautiful stuff though. And we're making our way over to the Mona Lisa. Let's head that way.
We did not have an audio guide, but I did hear a tour guide at the museum say that this sculpture is one of the earliest recorded with an actual signature. Isn't that cool? So the inside joke about the rocks, and my Greek cousin, we spent a couple of weeks in Greece for his wedding several years back, and did all the touristy things, and he would always say, some more rocks over here. It's funny.
I'm wondering if when we get over there, we will actually get to see her, because even though they said in the afternoons it isn't as crowded, this place is packed. Unbelievable. Oh, we sure have had a full day of activities today. You can imagine, I'm pretty tired, but this is, once in a lifetime trip. I would say next time we take a little more time. We didn't take into account the queues, long lines to get the elevators at the Eiffel Tower and to queue up for security, things like that. So you got to take that into account. But, we're doing the best we can. Oh my gosh, more stairs. Here we go.
It was really nice to see the Winged Victory there in person. Isn't that pretty? And from there, we entered the Italian section of the museum. There she is. Throughout the museum, they have little signs pointing you toward the Mona Lisa. I am definitely not going to even attempt to name all this artwork. Just enjoy it for its beauty. Now, if you do plan to visit the Louvre, make sure to go first thing in the morning. So that's the way to do it. Because most folks get there 10-ish, 10:30. And by then, it's going to be packed like an airport, and kind of impossible to navigate your way through. We didn't have a choice because by the time, we set up our pass for the museum, there were no morning slots. So try and get that knocked out early. Here she is. We're entering the room where the Mona Lisa is displayed. Here is the wedding feast at Cana, where Jesus turned water into wine. And there she is. Wow. Most famous painting in the world, you guys. Evie was very excited to have a chance to see her in person. Amazing. We braved the crowds at the museum and so happy we had a chance to see the Mona Lisa in person. I am hearing she will be moved to a different location next year, so interesting. Had I known that the Mona Lisa was on everything you can think of at the gift shop, I could have just skipped her altogether and just come here, check out her face on a pillow. I'm just joking, of course. But pretty interesting that they've got so much merchandise. Even a stamp. Not sure what that's for. They had a fan and a Rubik's Cube as well. And some chocolate bars. I regret not picking some of these up, for friends and family, but €6.95, kind of steep for a chocolate bar. Well, I hope you enjoyed this quick peek at the Louvre and famous Mona Lisa. So things didn't go exactly as planned, but hey, you've got to be flexible. Stuff happens, when you travel, and you got to kind of roll with it. But overall, I wouldn't trade this experience in Paris for anything in the world. It was literally a dream come true. From Disneyland to the Louvre, the Eiffel Tower and Notre-Dame. This was priceless.
And we're done with the Louvre. Not only was it super crowded, but the museum is massive. I mean, we didn't even scratch the surface. We did, of course, want to see the Mona Lisa, which is what everyone wants to see. Got a chance to do that, and some of the ancient Greek stuff. But again, it's just so massive. Didn't get to see, I would say, probably not even a quarter of it. We, arranged originally the Klook Paris Pass, which gives you 3 attractions. Probably should have done the Louvre one entire day to really take your time and experience it, take a break, and have lunch. We haven't eaten much today, so I'm a little hangry also. But, it is what it is. We got to see Notre-Dame, went up the Eiffel Tower, visited the Louvre. So we knocked out the 3 things we wanted to do. Next year, we'll definitely plan it a bit differently and more spaced out. Because like I was saying, inside the museum, you don't take into account security lines and the queues and all that kind of stuff. And it really does make a difference and cuts into your time. So even if you separate the attractions by 3-4 hours, it's not enough. Definitely not enough. So give yourself much more time than that. I separated from Evie and needed to find a bathroom, and we separated. But, we'll meet up now, grab an Uber back to the hotel and have a nice dinner. And pretty much that's the end of the trip, because tomorrow we board our plane back to Miami. I guess this is my sign-off right here from the Louvre. Thank you so much for watching the past couple of episodes, our Disneyland Paris trip and the Paris portion. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a little something as well. And that is all for now. As always, have an out-of-this-world day. Take care. Bye-bye.